Hello everyone, I'm Jen. If you're new here, I'm a 2023 destination wedding bride who had their wedding at Dreams Playa Mujeres in Cancun, Mexico. So today I wanted to talk about why I chose the resort that I did. I absolutely loved Dreams Playa Mujeres Resort. And it took me a little bit to figure out and narrow down where I wanted to have my wedding. So one of the number one things for me is that I wanted it to be family friendly. And my thought process behind that was my niece at the time was coming, and I felt that more guests would come if they felt that they could bring their kids, which ended up actually being the case. A lot of guests did end up bringing their kids and some didn't. So to begin the process of looking for family-friendly resorts, I did what most people do is I Googled it. And I watched a bunch of YouTube videos on the top destination wedding resorts. In that initial video, I wrote down all of the resorts that they mentioned. And then I watched more videos and continue to watch more videos, and I would make a tally mark next to the resorts that they suggested. Dreams was actually one of the top resorts that was suggested. So then I started to dive in. I took my top 5 and I actually started to dive into the resorts themselves. So throughout my research, I realized that a lot of people complained about Seaweed in Cancun. I didn't want to bring everyone all the way over to Mexico to then them not be able to enjoy the resort and the beach. I knew a lot of my guests were beach crazies and they were going to spend the majority of their time on the beach, so I wanted them to be able to enjoy the beautiful blue water. With that, I found that Dreams Playa Mujeres was one of the resorts that didn't have a lot of seaweed because of the island that's in front of it actually blocks the seaweed from coming in. So that was one of the things that I was looking for, so that actually was a plus. I also wanted to make sure that the resort was budget friendly for my guests. And at first glance, Dreams Playa Mujeres probably does not look like that. And I actually kind of felt that way as well. But then when I started looking at the fact that it was all inclusive and the value that you were getting as a guest, I felt like it kind of offset the price. I found that my guests also, once they got there, felt that same way. Now, initially, I will say that they were a little shocked by the prices because it was a little bit more than I wanted everyone to spend per couple. But I booked so far in advance and gave people so much an extended time for the save the dates that they were able to budget it out, and it ended up working out perfectly. And now that we've gotten back and I've talked to family members, they said it was probably one of the best trips that they've ever taken and that they were 100% go back, which made me feel so good after all of the research that I did to pick this resort. So after choosing or thinking that I was going to go towards this resort, I started actually Googling just that resort and I started watching YouTube videos on just that resort. I fell in love with the way that the destination weddings looked. I love the look of the fairy tent lights. I love the look of the cold fireworks and the light up dance floor. These things were very important to me. I started to get so excited about my dream wedding. So then I started looking at other things. Now, initially, when I first did research, I thought that the resort was only 15 minutes away from the airport. So I was wrong. It's actually about a half hour, which honestly isn't too bad of a ride. Another thing that I wanted to look at was security. I was very concerned and I wanted my guests to feel that there was enough security. Now, I did not realize how many gates we were going to have to go through to get to the actual resort, but it was very important to me that it was a gated community and that their security was on point. Now, being there, I realize it is highly secure. There are probably 4 gates that you need to get to before you actually get to the resort. And I'm pretty sure the last gate has a fingerprint scanner. Like, that's how locked down this resort is. Another reason I really liked this resort was that it had a sister property. So a lot of my guests, if they were over the age of 18, could go to Secrets, which was next door, for free. And you didn't have a wristband. So one of the things I didn't like about other resorts is that they weren't all inclusive. Some guests you could choose to be all inclusive, and then some guests, if they chose not to be all inclusive, they weren't. But the people that were all inclusive had to have wristbands. And that was something that I didn't want to wear on my wedding day, and I didn't want that to be a thing for guests to have to wear on our wedding day as well. I didn't want them in the pictures. Now, I know that probably sounds so silly, but to me that was very important. I also didn't want the tan line from the wristband, which I know sounds really stupid when I say it out loud, but that is something that was super important to me. Something else that I do recommend doing is joining the Facebook groups. So I joined, it was a fans club, it was like guests and fans, and it was also a brides Facebook. And I felt that both of them were very, very helpful. I am still part of both of those groups, and I was just saying how I was reading, someone was asking if their 8-year-old would be able to go to the swim up bar and order a chocolate smoothie. And I had all of these comments, and it was like, yes, they can swim right up to the bar. Like, my daughter was living their best life, and they all enjoyed it. And that is something that, like, I want to share with people. Like, I've had many guests come back to me and say that they're going back to this resort. And when they actually price it out for their family, it's actually cheaper than renting a house at the beach or the shore during the summer and just going there and not having to worry about food, right? So like, that's the biggest thing about vacation time, is that when you go somewhere, if it's not all inclusive, then you have to worry about where and when are you eating, how much is that going to cost. If everything's all inclusive and you have access to everything, I personally feel that it's a better value. So I would relay that to your guests if they are questioning the price of going to your destination wedding. I will say that, like I said, every single one of my guests said it was the best time that they've ever had. So I really hope that helps as to why I chose Dreams Playa Mujeres for our destination wedding. If you do have any questions, please comment down below. I love helping other brides and other guests determine where they would love to have their destination wedding. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope that this video helped. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and like this video, and I will see you on my next video.